Led by rookie Lamar Jackson, Flacco's Ravens had missed the playoffs 3 years in a row. Greg, you're the obvious start on this. What's your reaction?
It doesn't make the Denver Broncos a better team, in my opinion. When I look at where they are, Case Keenum, yeah, he's a flashier quarterback. Joe Flacco, he's won. Case Keenum has not won a Super Bowl. But when I look at the production and what I'm going to get for Joe Flacco, I know they're not making this move saying this is the future of our franchise. They're making this move saying, just in case we don't have someone else to replace either Case Keenum or Joe, we have these two, and they're solid. We can win games with these guys, but I'm not looking at it as this big difference maker. When I look at that division, it doesn't move them higher up the totem pole in that AFC West.
I'm with you. More like a desperation move. Like, okay, we'll take him just in case, as you said. This is not like, oh, wow, they're making moves. This is further proof that John Elway hasn't done it right when it comes to quarterbacks. This is like 10 guys who have been through Denver over the last few years trying to figure out something quarterback-wise. And Flacco's at the end. I mean, he really is. And Baltimore, I don't blame Baltimore for moving on. They've decided that they're moving forward and that he won a Super Bowl with them. He gave them some good years, but his best years are behind him.
I agree with you that they're not looking at him as their quarterback of the future, and that if they can get a good one in the draft, they'll do it. But I do think it's an upgrade. I think he'll start. I think they're thinking he's going to start. He couldn't win last year, but his numbers, they're better than Case Keenum's. You know, and I think that a new atmosphere, a new setting will be good for Flacco. He's only 33. He's only 33 years old.
He's
now,
an
we
old
know quarterback, maybe. But, you know, he's quarterbacks now are playing a lot longer. His numbers aren't better?
How much better are they than Case Keenum?
Better. They're better. I'm not saying he was like Aaron Rodgers or anything like that, but they're better.
But like this much of a margin?
he threw 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. Keenum 18 and 15. Yeah, and obviously that was in half a year.
I was going to say he didn't have the remaining 6 games.
I think
or 7 games.
Well, but he wasn't on pace to throw as many. He had a better pace.
If Joe Flacco was still good, he would have been starting quarterback.
No, look, I'm not saying. I'm just saying I think it's an upgrade. That's all. I'm not saying he's their quarterback for the next 5 years and Elway thinks it's going to lead them to a championship. But for right now, it's an upgrade over Case Keenum. He's done more in the league than Case Keenum. I think he's a stronger leader than Case Keenum. I think they're looking at it like, look, our defense already was strong. We don't need, unless we can get a great quarterback. Yeah, we want a great quarterback, but unless we can get one, let's go with a guy like this who, that's how Flacco won his championship. I know he was better back then, but it was a defensive
He lost his job to a rookie quarterback that they wanted to sit all of last year.
I get all that.
And the Baltimore Ravens benefit more from this than the Denver Broncos.
Well, we knew they were trading him. We knew they were getting rid of him. I'm saying it's an upgrade over Case Keenum. I'm not saying they're the favorites in the AFC. I'm saying I think it makes them better.
I'm not convinced that he's going to be the automatic starter with Denver when he gets there.
He'll beat out Keenum.
I'm not convinced of that.
I'm not convinced either. And when I look at Case Keenum and what he was able to do in Minnesota, obviously what he did.
That's one time out of how many years?
No, I get that. But you talked about Flacco being a better leader. I didn't see a better leader when I saw Case Keenum and how he rallied those guys and how they believed in his ability to win games when it counted and relying on him to get it done versus some other quarterback. But you saying that Joe Flacco is an upgrade, that's like saying what everybody thought about Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins. It's like
they thought it was an upgrade.
You thought it was an upgrade, but you pretty much got the same thing.
Well, individually, it was an upgrade. Kirk Cousins has had a better individual career and is a better individual
quarterback. But it wasn't an upgrade for the Minnesota Vikings last year.
Greg, do you agree with Chris that a new environment can breathe some life into a player?
Yeah, being benched can breathe some life into
Well, he got two reasons to be fired up when he gets there.
Yeah, but you can be fired up, but if you don't have what it takes from a skill set component, it doesn't matter. I'm taking the same talents over somewhere else And
they didn't bring him there. They didn't bring him there to be on the bench.
This is John Elway, who got rid of Brock Osweiler and then brought him back. That's
he
what
didn't
he did.
like. Again, I'm not saying they got a great quarterback. I'm just saying he wasn't brought there to be on the bench because he could have stayed in Baltimore to be on the bench.
You know who's not on the bench? Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson, a lock to become a superstar in the NBA. We'll discuss that next. From 23 points down to beat Louisville last night, Zion had 27 points, adding to the reason why many think he will be the #1 pick in June's draft. And that pick could be made by the Knicks, who have the worst record in the league. Chris, are you all in on the Zion hype?
I am all in. And the people I talk to around the NBA about the draft, I haven't heard one yet say he's not the consensus #1 pick. Guys really like him. Now, I've got some questions about his jump shot. The three-pointer is such a big part of the game now. But his jumper's not broken. I think he can improve that. And he can getting to the holes easier than ever. He'll get to the basket in the NBA.
You saw that last night
with his athleticism and strength, be able to finish over the rim. The question is, if I'm the Knicks and I get that pick, am I giving him up for Anthony Davis?
I am.
I look at it this way. If I'm getting Kevin Durant or Kyrie, or I talk to them and one of them are like, look, I want Anthony Davis with us, then I'm trading it if I get those guys with me and I'm in win now mode. If I strike out in free agency, then I'm keeping Zion.
See, I agree with you from the standpoint of if you're trying to win, the Knicks haven't won since 1973. And if you could get a star to come, and you could get Anthony Davis.
You got to get somebody with him, right?
With him, right, okay. But a known commodity, a 26-year-old who you know. There have been a lot of great college players, and people come in and go, he's the next this, he's the next that. And then you know what? The Knicks are like, we finally get the first pick, and he's a bust, or he's not as good as advertised. So if I'm the Knicks, I'm going for the known commodity.
Well, don't get rid of Zion Williamson because he is a known commodity. Like, whether you believe it or not, I like what he brings to the table. You mentioned his jump shot. He can improve, and I think he's going to improve. But when you look at every other area of his game, defensively, he's gonna change the game. Offensively, he's gonna change the game. And the way the league works, he can guard 1 through 5. So I like Zion Williamson. I think he would be a huge grab for any team. Specifically the Knicks.
Well, like I said,
I wouldn't trade
if I had to build around either Zion or AD, and we know AD is a great NBA player. We don't know that about Zion. But if I was in the Knicks situation, I'd take him. He's going to put people in the seats. He's going to generate tons of excitement. So I would go with him if I don't have a veteran free agent ready to win.
And Greg, weren't you the guy who said that Harold Miner was Baby Jordan? And I remember you said that. Remember that?
I covered Baby Jordan.
Did you dig that from? No,
I just had to dig that.
Not at all. Not at all.
But to your point, a lot of guys.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. You can catch The Herd on FS2 today. Right now, we're going to send you out to live coverage of Daytona 500 Media Day.
Undisputed.